Today I'm going to give you 8 years of my own knowledge, teaching myself and others. But first of all, I wanted to point out that you don't have to listen to my advice. This advice is for people that are willing to learn and develop themselves. That's what my videos, my content is for. Not some idiot that wants to comment and start an argument in the comments below my video. If you are one of them people, you can fuck off. If you're not one of them people, then you can stick around, because what I'm about to share with you is the bit of information that you need to step up your knowledge on your journey. It could be a bit of information that's keeping you where you are, stuck where you are. It could take your physique to the next level, knowing the information that I'm about to share. This isn't a joke. This is going to be pure, raw knowledge from my own experiences, teaching people and teaching myself. I wanted to share this with someone who is like my younger self, who was out there searching YouTube for hours and hours. Every moment that I was not in the gym, I was watching YouTube, searching for more information, what I didn't know, searching for them videos, gate-kept information that I needed, that I wanted to know. I wanted to know every single little thing about the gym. I was obsessed with it. That's what this video is for that little boy that wanted to create a better version of himself, the best looking version of himself, who could attract the women that he wanted. He could walk around with confidence, his head high, shoulders back, and a knowing within himself that he is disciplined, he can do hard things, and he is his own leader. That all starts with how you see yourself. The image that you see in the mirror, but the image also that you see in your mind. Let's begin. First, I wanted to start off with the mindset, the mind, and how we think, because this is going to be the biggest problem, the biggest dictator in your journey. Because you can know all the bits of information, all the best exercises to do, how much to eat, and you can get every little bit of detail down to perfection. But what is going to restrict you is your mindset. You can perform these exercises perfectly, you can eat the right food, but if your mind is not in the right place, you're not going to be consistent, you're not going to be able to push yourself hard, you're always going to skip a day, skip days in your diet, you're going to eat cheat meals. Your mindset is the single most important thing that you need to craft when it comes to building anything. Never mind your body, never mind when it comes to the gym, anything in life. Your mindset is the absolute most important thing that you need to structure, that you need to dial down, that you need to think properly about, that you need to be the most aware about. The first point in the mindset is consistency. I want you to develop a mindset around sticking to the gym and staying consistent, going every single day. We want to drill it into your brain and it to become habitual that you go to the gym every single day at 10 o'clock in the morning. Because this consistency, you just wake up, you do a couple of things, and then you go straight to the gym. This is just an example. That is going to get you more results than training really hard for, say, a month, 4 weeks, and then having 4 weeks off. Of course, that, makes sense, right? But that's how we can fall into it. We can be on and off with our diet, our consistency within staying in the gym. But it's about building the routine of knowing when you're going. About even if you're not going to do anything, I want you to build a mindset about, okay, I go to the gym at this time, because then it's just habituated into your lifestyle. Then it's not a thought process of like, oh, what do I have to do today? It's just like, oh, I'm going to the gym. That's it. Like it's just in your system. You don't even have to think about it. It's just you go at that time, at that certain time that you've set for yourself. You go at that time. This is going to get you so much more results, because even on them days that you don't feel like going, you're still going to work out, you're still going to do something, you're still going to burn some calories, you're still going to add some muscle. It's just one bad day. Now, we can talk about diet in this situation, or we can talk about skipping the gym. In either sense, we want to be able to, if we are just having one bad day, we skip the gym. That doesn't mean that we have to cheat on our diet. We can still eat healthy, right? But maybe we just need a bit more rest this week. In reverse to this, we might cheat, we might binge, we might, eat some shit food, we might eat some sugar, but that doesn't mean that we should skip the gym. That means we should still go, we should still stay consistent. This is going to do a lot more for us, because it is just one bad day. It's that one bad day, it turned bad when it turns into 2 days, turns into 3 days, a week, a month, 3 months, the whole year. If you let that one day affect you constantly, then you'll be stuck in that constant cycle of, trying really hard, and then you just have one really bad day, and then that sets you off track. You're completely fucked for the rest of the year, the rest of the month, the rest of the week. It completely fucks you up just for that one day. It's just one day. It's just one cheat meal. It's just one workout. It's not completely ruining your progress. Maybe if you've binged that much, it might ruin the whole week's progress. And that's where I think a lot of people can get really discouraged within their journey, is where they get stuck in that mindset of, what's the point this week then? There's no point going to the gym, and there's no point trying to eat healthy. Well, there is, because it's just 1 week. Even though you've made a dent, you can make sure that you don't make an even more of a dent, that you put that weight back on and you've got even more progress to do. Because I've definitely fell into this trap of putting myself back what I've done this week, and then putting myself even further back what I've done for like the whole month. Don't get discouraged when you don't work as hard as you have previously. Just work as hard as you can today. Make sure you push yourself. Make sure you are pushing yourself. You can say at the end of the workout, okay, I've pushed myself as hard as I could today. It might not have been as hard as yesterday, but I worked as hard as I could. I give it everything. Even though you're not pushing as hard as you was yesterday, because say yesterday you pushed 100%, you give it everything. But today you don't push as hard. You pushing as hard as you did that day is still giving it your 100%. Even though it's not 100% of what you did like yesterday, it is 100% of what you can do today. And that's still going to get you a lot more progress, not even trying at all. You need to be just focusing on and listening to your body, because there will be days where you just feel tired. You need more rest some week. Every day you're not going to feel pumped. You're not going to feel ready to go to the gym. You are just going to turn up and do as much as you can, as hard as you can. As long as you're trying your hardest, then you can't come out of that gym session feeling like shit, because you know you worked as hard as you possibly could that day. Just make sure it's not a consistent thing where you're working at this level where it's comfortable and you're not pushing yourself till failure, or you're not pushing yourself to make yourself sweat and burn the calories that you need. You need to be pushing yourself to make sure that you are still making progress, because there are going to be times where we're tired. There are going to be times where we're not feeling like we want to be going, we want to put in any effort. But if we consistently do that, if we consistently stay comfortable, because we can still go to the gym, but we can work out at a level that is just comfortable, then we're never going to make any improvements. And I fell into this trap of not tracking, not tracking how many reps I'm doing or how much weight I'm doing. Then the weeks after, I'm still doing that exactly the same weight, exactly the same reps, because I didn't track it the week before. I couldn't push further than what I did previously. If you are tracking, if you're doing this, if you know what weight you've got, if you know how many reps you're doing, then the week after, the days after, even if you're feeling a little bit shit and you don't feel like pushing yourself, then you can build this energy inside of you to push yourself in that moment and push further past what you previously did. Even though you don't feel like it, and it might not be as much as what you've done previously, you can still push yourself to push harder than what you did. And that pushing yourself, knowing that you've just pushed yourself and you've worked as hard as you could, gives you more energy to push even further in the exercises coming up, or days after, weeks after, because you know you are still going to progress. Cardio. Now for cardio, for most of my training, I didn't think it was that important, because I just thought if I train my muscles, if I work the muscles that, my shoulders, my arms, my chest, my legs, I'm still going to look good if I lose weight, and I'm still going to end up with abs. But this wasn't the case. I didn't look as lean as I wanted to. I wasn't doing cardio. I was still getting out of breath when I was walking, and my midsection especially was holding a lot more weight. It was a lot less toned than the rest of my body, because you could see my shoulders, you could see the definition in my arms, my chest, but I wasn't defined in the midsection, my core, my abs, my literally like the lower belly. I still had a little bit of an overhang, and I could show you pictures where the difference between training cardio and my abs to not training cardio or my abs at all. And this was a turning point for my fitness, is increasing my NEAT, including walking and including running. I included walking because it was very low intense, it was easy to stay consistent, and it really targets your fat, because so at low intensity you are targeting your fat, your white fat, your beige fat and your brown fat cells. And that's the same with NEAT. Targets your fat cells. Especially if you're shivering, it will target your beige and your brown fat cells, which is best for burning fat because they have higher levels of mitochondria in them. You can turn the beige fat cells into brown fat cells, and the brown fat cells will just overall burn more fat. I included some high level of high intensity cardio because first of all, I wanted to increase my cardiovascular. I wanted to improve my heart. I wanted to get better. I wanted to, find walking easy, because I was still finding walking. There was sometimes where I would feel my breathing becoming quite heavy, even though I was just walking. So because of that, level of intensity has risen. Walking has become such an easy thing to do that running is the hard thing to do, and I increased this to 2 times a week so I could properly push myself, get nice, easy, steady running, and then a one run where it's a bit more high intensity and pushing myself, trying to beat my next target. And this just running overall, I really enjoy, just because of the high that you get, the feeling that you get after it, the feeling of how hard it is during that moment, and then as soon as you finish, you've got this sense of like, I can breathe again. I can't believe I completed that. It was so hard. And now I've completed something that was hard for me to do. It just gives you that sense of, okay, I am improving. I can do hard things. It's, it was my next level up in my fitness journey, because at first it was, the weightlifting, like that was the hard thing to do for me. And then it was the walking, now it's the running. And then, next maybe it's HIIT workout, or maybe it's high rocks. Like it will always be increasing. But if you're first starting out, the best thing I would recommend you to do is increase your NEAT. Focus on the fidgeting, the clicking of your pen, the bouncing of your knee if you're listening to music, or just throughout the day, increasing your NEAT. Especially if we are trying to lose fat, lose weight, this is the first thing that's going to be reduced, is our activity. But if we can be aware of that, if we know that our body is naturally going to try and find ways to save energy, because body will naturally find ways to save energy, so we aren't feeling as starved or as hungry, and because we're in a deficit. And NEAT is the best way, especially if you haven't been walking or running. NEAT is going to be the best way to get into increasing your activity overall, and it's still a very high calorie burner. If you can do it consistently throughout the day for say like 12 hours of the day, you're constantly bouncing your knee. That's just calories adding up and adding up. I don't know how you would track this. Obviously you can track it better with walking and running if you've got a watch, but someone that hasn't done fitness for a long time, this is going to be a very low intensity, like lower intensity than walking, but it's still going to get the job done, target some fat, it's going to burn some calories, it's going to get you the results, it's going to be an easy option. And then further on, getting to a point of like, okay, I need to step it up now, I need to start walking, and then you get to a stage in walking, then you're like, okay, I need to start running, and so on. You build it up, you progressively overload. Same with anything. Now, the intensity that you need to be training at has got to be at a level where you can feel that your muscles are completely burnt out and they haven't got any more energy to completely contract the muscle again. This is called training till failure. Previously, before discovering training till failure, you can laugh at me, but a lot of people do this, is they see the 10 reps, the 12 reps, the 15 reps on their workout program, and that's all they will do. Even though they've got 2 reps in them, 4 reps, 6 reps more in them, they will stop at 10. They see that 10 and they're like, oh, I've done my set now. I was going home, finishing my workouts, feeling completely fine, not feeling tired, not even sweating, not even feeling an ache in my muscles, because I was working at that low intensity. It was no wonder that I didn't make any progress for so long. I looked the same way for so long. That was partly to do with my diet, and it was partly to do with how hard I was training. I was not training till failure. I was not focusing on how the contraction in my muscles was feeling. There was a whole bunch of things. The main thing was not training till failure, not training hard enough. Training till failure means going to the absolute point. You are on 8 reps right now, you're slowly getting it up, you've just reached the top, okay? Now you're lowering it back down, and this is your 9th rep now, and you're slowly, you get stuck just right in the middle, you're slowly progressing upwards, and you finally get it up. That, maybe you could get to one more. At that point, that was what you would class as failure. There are some people, and I've done this myself, is they include partial reps as well. So they'll push themselves till failure, where they can't fully contract their muscles. They can maybe just do, half of the rep. So this is where they would include partial reps, where they would go till complete failure, and then they would just do, maybe like halfway up when you're benching. This is going to completely tire your muscles out. This is going to fatigue your muscles to a point where there's just going to be no juice left inside of them, and if you are eating the right amount of calories, the right amount of protein, you are going to progress very quickly. That is what I discovered during this. I've missed out on so much potential in my physique and my journey because I have not trained hard enough. And I don't want that for you, for my younger self who's watching this video. I want you to be able to achieve the physique that you want within as little time as possible. That's why I'm making this video. Next, you need to be consistently, progressively overloading, adding plates and adding reps. Every single week, you should be adding at least 1 rep. You need to be constantly pushing yourself, tracking every single thing down, every rep down, every single exercise, what you do to the T, writing every little detail down so you can track, and the next time you work out, you do that same workout, you can track that and you can push past that rep limit or the weight limit that you did. We need to constantly be adding plates or adding reps to be progressively overloading, because we are constantly upping the intensity so our body is not getting comfortable on that weight and on them reps. We are constantly putting our body in a state of homeostasis, so there's an imbalance in our body so it can repair again and create that homeostasis. Homeostasis is a system within us that wants to create balance, and we create that imbalance by upping the intensity, by upping the load, by upping the reps, and then our body's natural response is to create homeostasis so we can become more balanced. This is the level of intensity that we need to be including into our training, pushing till failure, doing partial reps, and progressively overloading. Now, I am someone who had a really big hunger. I had a never-ending hunger. I had cravings that I didn't understand. I had a constant hunger for junk food. And there was one thing that I implemented that really helped me control my hunger, to control my ability to stop binge eating, and it targeted my stored fat around my midsection especially. And this is known as intermittent fasting, time-restricted feeding, or fasting altogether for longer periods of time. I've included intermittent fasting on a daily basis, and I've included fasting on a 2-weekly basis, where I would include a longer fast for 2 days. I would include it every so often, but I would intermittently fast every single day for about 17 hours, 20 hours. Then I would go to the extent of doing a 48-hour fast. The 48-hour fast is the longest that I've ever done. And once I did my first ever 48-hour fast, this is when I seen really big results. This is when my dopamine receptors reset themselves, that I didn't get so much of a buzz off all of this sugar. I didn't crave the sugar so much. I really, and I emphasize this a lot, I really found that I could control my hunger a lot more within their moments. I wasn't hungry as much. Then intermittent fasting became even easier at that point once I hit that 48-hour mark, because of how difficult that was, how long that was. Intermittent fasting just felt so easy to me. It just felt like something that I should have been doing for so much longer. I should have been doing every single day, but just because of how clear I felt, how it worked with my diet, how I could get all the food in. Previously, before this, I would go through stages of binge eating. Then I would go through stages of really being restrictive. Then I would go through stages of binge eating again. and it was a consistent cycle. But now with this intermittent fasting, I can control my hunger. I'm at a point where I feel satiated completely now that I have my food. After every single meal, I feel satiated because sort of like know the feeling of my belly. Because I was constantly eating, I didn't know when I was like a nice level of full. My stomach was always full with food because I was consistently eating. I didn't have a break. I didn't know how to fast. I couldn't go 30 minutes, an hour without eating consistently. My belly was constantly being topped up with food. Now I know the feeling of the complete emptiness, the pit, how empty it was in my stomach after the 48 hours especially. Now I know a nice level of hunger within myself. It's made me more connected to my gut, and the gut sends a lot of signals to the brain. And now I feel more connected to my gut. I can listen to where that ghrelin hormone within me that's telling me, okay, you are quite full now. You need to stop eating. I can listen to myself in that moment, whereas previously I couldn't listen to that and I was constantly overeating. Didn't know if I was full or not. I didn't know if I was full until I got to that stage of binge eating where you have eaten so much, you feel physically sick. You feel like you could spew everything up, your belly's aching. It's, it really like just 2 times bigger than what it usually is. That's when I would know I needed to stop or I've overdone it. I included intermittent fasting and fasting. That's when I really became more aware of my gut and how it was feeling and being more connected to my gut. It sounds very strange, like being connected to your gut, but it makes sense. Once you remove something out of your life, you realize how important it is and you pay more attention to it. And that's what intermittent fasting and fasting has done to me. It's made me become more aware of my gut, of how it's feeling and what different types of food makes me feel good, what types of food makes my stomach ache, what types of food I'm producing better stool. Like, it's made me more connected to my body. And for protein, I didn't really take that seriously. I would get in maybe 120, 150 sometimes, but I would never hit the 180 mark, 200 gram mark, the 250 grams, the 300 grams that I'm currently doing, because I didn't know how it affected. This was partly a reason to do with why I wasn't putting on the muscle, getting the physique that I wanted. I was not having the right amount for my body. I think possibly that I am a hard gainer because of the level of progression that I'm seeing, the level of muscle mass that I'm seeing now, eating the 250, the 300 grams of protein that I'm seeing now to previously, where there was a stage where I was eating 180 consistently, but I still wasn't progressing as fast as I would like to. So I did the calculations of 1.25 or 1.5 pounds of protein per pound of body weight. And this came to 170 at the higher end. For me, I was eating 270. I was getting between 250 to 300 grams of protein. And this is where I basically made the change to the carnivore diet. And I'm not saying this is for everyone, but I really enjoyed it just because of the clear mind and just how much protein it fitted what I needed. It fitted this calculation that I made. So I just made the decision to go carnivore, and I'm not fully carnivore now. I do eat carbs, I do eat fruit, I do enjoy that sort of stuff. So I've sort of toned it back, but I'm still getting the 250 to 300 grams. I've just upped my calorie intake. Now, you need to be eating natural sources of protein, not protein powder and all these other sorts of shit, because it's got a bunch of chemicals in these that's going to restrict you. And if it is cheaper for you, then I advise you to do that, because it is expensive to get this much protein in. But for someone who is a hard gainer or a skinny guy, we find it hard to build muscle. This is going to be a must for you to build muscle, is to be eating this amount of protein. And you want your diet basically 90% protein of natural proteins, the beef, the chicken, the fish. This is the way you want to be eating if you are serious about getting your dream physique, if you are serious about getting the body that you want, feeling free in the mind, having better thoughts, working harder, being leaner. This has done so much for me, discovering this about myself, about protein, how it's affected me. And I thought, protein's a big part of bodybuilding and building muscle. I I needed to share this. Ab training. For a long time, like I mentioned previously, I didn't do ab training. I never trained core. I would do like maybe a little ab workout here and there, but I was never consistent with it. Or maybe I'd do it once a week and I'd think, oh, this is going to work, but I never seen real results that truly made me happy. But I've got to a point now where I look at myself in the mirror and I fucking love the way I look. I love the way my core looks. I love how hard it feels, that, the muscle that I've built there. I fucking love that. It makes me feel like I can take my top off on the beach. I can take my top off anywhere. I can notice that girls look at me. That's, just what you would want. So you need to implement training your core into your diet, and we need to train it just like any other muscle. Having exercises where having the lower end of the scale of reps, but having higher weight, so we're training for strength, but then also have the other end of the scale where we have higher reps, but less weight. Maybe we don't have any weight at all. We're just training purely just off the weight of our legs, like leg raises. Well, this is going to be perfect because we're able to track the reps, the sets, and we're going to be able to progressively overload this way. We're going to be able to create strength, but then we're also going to be able to tone that muscle as well and make it look, really defined. The variety of reps that we have is going to build overall solid core. We're going to have the strength and we're going to have the control and the form, the conditioning there because of the higher reps. But this leads me on to the next section, and that is spot fat reduction. Now, because of this implementation of my abs and cardio, I truly believe in spot fat reduction, because I will show you a picture of me previously when I didn't do the cardio, when I didn't do the abs, and then a picture of me when I did the cardio and I did the abs. You can see a significant difference in the way my core looked. This leads me to believe that there is possibility of spot fat reduction. And I've listened to a podcast with Andrew Huberman, and he talks about this. He's not confirming that it's true. There is a possibility that it does work because of the results, the tests that have been done on other human beings, other test subjects that have taken up ab training plus 30 minutes of moderate exercise, that they've seen a massive difference in the fat around their midsection because of the increased oxygen in that area, then followed up by the burning of the fat with the exercise. Then it just makes sense to me that that's why we would lose the fat around that section, because there's more oxidation, that means there's more fat burning around that area. So to me, I feel like this is true. I'm going to put it out there. You can say what you want. You can, if you don't believe it, you can fuck off. If you do believe it, then implement it into your workout plan. And I hope this one helps. Biggest factor for me, noticing how my training increased, how my ability to think better, my progression, my energy, all increased when I decided to change the food that I ate. Reducing the sugar, keeping it to all natural foods, including something that I enjoyed every single day. In my case, it's dark chocolate, and increasing the volume of food that I was having because it was so natural, because it was so healthy. I could get high volumes of food. I could feel full when I was cutting, feel like really satiated when I was maintaining, and it was a bit uncomfortable when I was bulking. I was still feeling clear-headed. I was still feeling full of energy during every single moment of each of these stages. Keeping it natural, reducing the sugar, I had no cravings. I had no cravings for anything. I could stay consistent, and this was a big thing for me. The gym wasn't the problem after a while of staying consistent. It was the eating. It was the diet. It was not enjoying the meals that I was eating. All of this made it so I would fall off track consistently. I would go really strict all week, and then when the weekend came, I would go out drinking and I would ruin it all. And you've heard this 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. You've heard this. This is the same case. This is a lot of cases for a lot of people, and it's that sugar. It's that sugar that will create the spikes that will make you want sugary snacks, that will make you want the takeaway, that will make you choose the unhealthy food over the healthy food. That sugar create more suffering. It's going to hold you back in so many different ways without you even realizing it. All it takes is 3 days for that sugar to get out of your system. Then at that point, you have almost no cravings at all. Thinking becomes clear. your energy levels rise, stay consistent throughout the day. You're not, high and then low and high and low. You are on a consistent high, a nice mellow feeling throughout the day, and you can get shit done that you need to get done. You feel full constantly. You don't have to be on any specific diet. Just eat natural foods, one ingredient foods, chicken, the broccoli, the potatoes, the fish, the nuts. This is what's going to really make a massive difference in your diet. If you can fully focus on getting the right nutrients in, the right types of food in, I can promise you that this is going to do so much for you physically, but mentally as well. Watch out for empty calories like drinks and sugar. Calories are not just calories, because you can eat 2,000 calories of chicken and you can eat 2,000 calories of sweets. And what the difference between what you're going to look like and how you're going to feel is going to be completely different on either of these things. One, you're going to be holding less water, you're going to be leaner, you're going to look leaner, you're going to be stronger, you're going to build muscle. The other one, you're going to be foggy, you're going to have brain fog, you're not going to be think properly, you're going to hold a lot more water weight, and you're not going to be able to build muscle because you're not getting any protein or any nutrients in at all. Obviously, this isn't the case. You're not just going to be eating sweets, and you're not just going to be eating chicken. It's unrealistic, but that's just an example to prove that calories are not just calories. The nutrients, the macronutrients, the things that you put in your body completely matter when it comes to building muscle and building the body that you want. If you want a body that you are proud of, if you want a body that women are attracted to, you need to be putting the right calories into your body. Don't be a bitch. Eat the right foods. Now, the most important thing for you to do is rest. We need to be having 8 hours of sleep, 2 to 4 days off a week, and breaks of 3 to 4 minutes on the big heavy sets, and breaks of 1 to 2 minutes on the lighter sets, and 2 sets overall. None of this bullshit of 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets, because we're not going to get the adequate amount of rest. 2 sets is enough to push yourself till failure. 2 sets is enough to give you the right amount of rest between the sets and the exercises. Yes, you can do warm-up sets and drop sets. 2 sets is going to be enough for you to build muscle, because I was in this position of doing 4 sets, 5 sets, and I didn't have the mental capacity to push my complete hardest on every single set because I had so much to do. My workouts were so long, I was not enjoying it. When I made the switch to doing 2 sets, I completely pushed myself as hard as I could. I was able to achieve that level of failure that I was talking about earlier, to be able to do the partials afterwards, then the drop sets. So I could make the gains, I could work the muscles to the degree that they needed to be worked. When I had the 4 sets, the 5 sets, it was in the back of my mind, I've still got 3 more sets to do, still got 2 more sets to do. So I'd hold myself back on these other 2 sets, these other 3 sets, these other 4 sets, and then by the time I got to the 4th set, the 5th set, I was completely fucked. It was too much. It was too much. I was not getting enough rest, and it was taking too long, so it wasn't enjoyable for me. I had, other things to do. This way of training helped me decrease the amount of time that I was spending in the gym, because I had a busy schedule, and it was giving me the right amount of stimulus that I needed for my muscles, and it was giving me the right amount of rest that I needed. I really hope that I've provided you with a lot of value today. This has been a long video, and I really enjoyed making it because this is something that I love doing, and this is something that I've done for 8 years, like I've mentioned. It's something that's been a big part of my life, and I want to be able to help that younger version of myself who's struggling, who's searching for the videos out there, that's going from video to video. Hopefully this can be one big video that you can get a lot of information from, a lot of value from, and hopefully that can be the next step in your journey to leveling up your physique and your mindset. Love you, boys.